different than last game that would be left available. The thing I liked about Ashe and the comp that WE did put together in game 1 is that it at least gave them more hard CC coming out and gave them like turn potential off of an objective. If they do opt into going for the Aphelios, they are just going for raw damage, and they're going to go for that one. So no real engage on the side of WE just yet.
A lot of damage there, though, as well as the team fight potential across the board, really, right now, and you still got that final pick to pick up. So really waiting to see what that final one is going to be, what kind of flexibility we see from Team WE's draft. But on the other side, Rogue Warriors maybe just picking up the final couple pieces to their run-back puzzle, as I do believe they're just going to do it. We get the Jhin locked in already, but you still got one left on the table. Need a little bit of engage to go with the rest of this, a little bit of support, a little bit of tankiness with all that skirmishing, and Leona fits the bill.
I feel like Leona is just the best pick for their composition when they do all into this point, right? They need that consistent engage. Also gives them long range engage as well, which fits really well with the Akali and the Camille. Now we get to see where W wants to go with their top lane pick. I really would love to see some kind of engage option comes out, but there isn't too much left available unless they wanted to go for something really obscure like a Malphite pick. Fiora was one of the things we hit on. They can play around silence. We're getting it. We're getting Breed's famous Fiora pick. Has already played it once so far this split. It was a win. And now we're going to see what he's able to do in this matchup. Typically not a matchup you put too much jungle attention towards. Is able to play out in the isolated 1v1 lane. But so for WE, they'll have one lane of side pressure later on, and then the other ones depending on how the mid lane matchup goes. But still, never a big fan of a comp that doesn't have engage, but also isn't necessarily great at kiting back.
Yeah, you know, I'm very interested at how this is going to play, especially with what game 1 had for us, right? Like the craziness that came with it maybe doesn't get any easier with this composition. I feel like the bar of execution is pretty high, but we still get the gauntlets thrown down lyric that makes me so excited for both of these teams. And for this matchup in specific, I want to go the distance at least once tonight, and there is a potential with Rogue Warriors pulling it back from game number 1, wanting to make it happen in game number 2. But Team WE, they're fired up and ready to go after that first game. You got to expect they're feeling real confident with that Fiora pick for Breathe, Lyric.
For Team WE, they're going to need that Fiora to do well. She's going to need to get ahead, and they're going to need to make a massive advantage in that top side, because if we go into mid game and we don't have that, I mean, for WE, I don't want to count them out because you still have an Aphelios, you have a composition that wants to run into you, but there's just so much backline access for the side of Rogue Warriors. I think they should be able to easily delete the Aphelios, assuming they coordinate that engage properly, but I don't know. We're going to see. Like you said, the bar for execution is high on the side of Team WE's, but you know what we learned from game 1, Mazel? Both of these teams make a ton of mistakes. Who knows what's going to happen?
That's what I was going to say, is like you're giving a rerun pretty much to Team WE here to an extent. And like, does that work in favor of Rogue Warriors? Does that work to be a detriment, right? Like, do Team WE realize where, quickly turn around from that first game, realize where things went wrong and can kind of plug those holes? Or does the chaos continue, do the throws continue? Do we just get to continually see those skirmishes and wonder that comes into these kinds of games shine through? I know that there's going to be some fighting in mid. There's going to be some headbutting from these junglers, and this top lane matchup is going to be spicy. But here it is, the potential final game of the evening. Rogue Warriors taking on Team WE. Looks like we're just going to get opposite side starts for both these junglers as well. Pretty much tried and true for the series so far, but I wonder what kind of differences we do see in that fashion. I will say, I'm just going to give another little shout out to Betty for playing the Jhin. I like the Jhin. I'm a little biased in that aspect.
Yeah, and one thing we know from how the draft's panned out, right, is even though I feel like Rogue Warriors comp has a more holistic like approach to the game and to fights, WE do have a ton of scaling on their side up against that Jhin. They have an Aphelios, a Sylas, and a Fiora, so Definitely don't want to count them out if this game does go as long as it did last time, where you do have a ton of members who are able to single-handedly take over the game. For Rogue Warriors, with the fact that they do have this early pressure in mid and bot, I would love to see more than what we did last time around, right? Start moving that Akali even earlier, start getting deep wards down in the enemy bottom side jungle. We can see them contest second blue buff spawn. If you can force heavy trades as well, you can try and force some kind of dive after something like a mid lane gank to get Shank's TP advantage. There's a lot of different avenues you can play with this mid prio to create more of an advantage than we saw last time around.
And I wonder what we see with the aggression we saw mid last game around and what that kind of lended out to. Bot lane is the aggression this time. Elk very, very low. Does have to pop the cleanse to get away from that ignite. But it is huge.
And still surprised that Elk feels confident to walk back into this. I guess all summoners are down, so QiuQiu does have flash, could try and flash onto Elk and set up for some kind of fourth shot play from Betty, but Elk is going to respect it in the end as he's backing off quite far. Looks like they just don't know where Xiaohao could be. They know he's on the bottom side of the map, Beishang's top side, and they're just paying enough respect had he already been pathing through their jungle. But we are just going to have junglers trade scuttle crabs on the opposite sides of the rift. So Beishang making the expected play, walking into the enemy jungle, just throwing out the scrying plant, and we're going to get recalls. We're going to get full clears once again. Mazel probably going to be the same pace of game. Early game is slow and smooth. And then somewhere around the 15-minute mark, we get just anarchy and chaos everywhere.
Yeah, and I wanted to see if maybe with the crazy pressure that we had in mid lane in game number 1, if we see an adaptation in that style from the junglers to go and levy that mid lane pressure a little bit more. But it does seem like we're going to get a similar start to last game around. Both junglers down towards the bot side of the map this time, though. Maybe a little bit of at least priority game by Beishang, because they do have a wave pushing down there for Team WE. As that Olaf, maybe that early dragon. Forge maybe in some trouble here, though. Shanks, he could look for it. He's going to chase down just a little bit further, but it has turned over in Shanks' favor.
Well, it's a rinse and repeat of last game, right? We actually saw this exact same thing where Shanks is forced for the early TP, comes back with a bit of an item advantage, but this time around Forge just overstaying a bit too long, and Shanks forcing a more aggressive trade this time around. So Forge not going to be punished. Shanks is going to use his window to get a bit more damage down. But in the end, everything does stabilize. We've already hit on for the side of Rogue Warriors, playing around some of the pressure that they're able to generate in mid and bot. Maybe go for a first dragon yourself if the lanes don't open up opportunities. But with him pathing down right now, sync up with the push from your bot lane, get some deep vision down in enemy jungle. If you can create a window with heavy trades to go for some kind of either gank or dive, go for it. If not, just turn back onto a dragon.
Yeah, and then that makes me think of where do we see Beishang go from here, right? Clearing the top side of his map. They have a lot of priority in top lane. The back and forth is still going to be there between Shanks and Forge in the mid lane. But as the Olaf, you can just continue farming. You have such a quick pace of clear in your jungle.
I love that we're starting to see the hovers around mid lane, though. This was such a volatile matchup last time around.
And they do. QiuQiu is here. QiuQiu. Sorry, I don't know why I keep saying QiuQiu. I apologize. But we do get missing.
You're stuck on the Rogue Warriors hype train, my friend.
Apparently, yeah. That's I bought a ticket. I just can't get rid of it. It's stuck to my hand. But we do finally get to see the mid lane push from both these supports, but nothing comes of it, and we're going to go back down to the Dragon Dance.
And for Rogue Warriors, they still do have their Leona and Xin Zhao in the river, so they're going to be able to secure this one. Does look like WE are kind of posturing like they can contest, but we know with the pressure that Rogue Warriors have been able to generate, this isn't going to be able to come out. And it looks like Rogue Warriors now potentially going to start getting vision down in the enemy jungle with what we see from Leona on the bot side. We're getting a little bit of a check in top lane. Fiora does have a nice time into that top lane matchup. Okay, W comes out.
Might be looking for. Oh, Beishang goes over onto QiuQiu, but now you have Rogue Warriors looking back for it onto Beishang. TP as well being committed from Forge. That means that Team WE need to get out of here, but can they turn it around? Solar Flare used by Shanks is gonna mean first blood goes over to Forge, and we're right back to it for Rogue Warriors.
I'm just not quite sure why WE is going this route. I mean, both their mid and bot lane are on the losing end of these trades. They have push up in top side. Breathe actually is getting those heavy trades to where you look at ZDZ's health bar, is shrunk to about 60%. You can look to trade on the opposite side of the map. You can look to get your Fiora ahead. And to now where Rogue Warriors were kind of sheepish about getting their play off, of moving down towards bottom side, invading, getting some deep vision, taking away enemy buffs, WE kind of just gifted them the opportunity to do it by being the ones to set up the exchange.
Yeah, and not the exchange they wanted to have. Maybe look at getting a receipt for that one. But still early Dragon on the board. No big focus down there, even though we had the early Blood go down to the bot side. Both junglers are pathing up towards the top side right now of the map. We do also have Rift Herald spawning on the board, Lyric. A lot of objectives on the map, but no real onus for them.
No, it looks like both teams probably going to start making their way up towards the top side now. WE are the team with prio on their recalls for their bottom lane, so they actually should be in a pretty good position, especially with the fact that ZDZ is forced to go for his recall right now. So I think this should be an objective for WE. We're going to see if Rogue Warriors want to come and threaten a contest. Does look like Betty's making his way down the mid lane, though, so you would think it's going to happen.
Yeah, I want to see. Maybe this is where the fireworks start to come online, but it will just be the Rift Herald taken out by the entire squad of Team WE as all 5 members were able to show up towards topside.
I feel like we've just seen bad reads from both teams so far in this early game in terms of thinking they're able to contest objectives when they realistically shouldn't be able to, and then already wasting tempo to move there, and then wasting opportunities they could have had elsewhere on the map. Rogue Warriors now, though, maybe find Elk?
They do. They get the Zenith Blade. Elk is going to pop the cleanse to get away. He does have red and white looking to fight, but Rogue Warriors are going to take that early engage and go towards the dragon.
So about time. This could have been Rogue Warriors' objective quite a while ago. Now, team just going to default back to standard starts. WE do still have their vision up towards the top side, and they have Herald. So you would love to see this top Herald utilized for Breathe. You would love to see them start transitioning into the place where they know they control space, and it does look like we're finally going to get that.
ZDZ in over his head here. Maybe not with the hook shot out, and Dragon goes over to Rogue Warriors.
Still, that was never an objective where WE realistically could have been able to contest. I think the sad thing for Beishang is that there's no camps available on top side just yet, and with ZDZ's recall just coming out prior to the Herald exchange, you haven't seen any like big trades coming out to where his health bar is gotten low just yet, to where WE can just have Olaf pushing this wave and then force a dive come out. So Beishang gonna have to go for the recall for now, and gonna probably once again clear from bot to top, and then try to look for a play once again.
You're looking for plays, but nothing really too crazy to speak of just yet. 10 minutes in, 1 objective taken. It is in favor of Rogue Warriors. Starting off this second game very nicely to bring us to a third potential.
Yeah, always room for, always potential for a third game to come out. So that is always something we're going to keep our eye on. Rogue Warriors, I think it has been surprisingly close between these two teams. And we have seen differences to game 1, right? We've seen WE, I think, adapt more to realizing where their pressure point is. We've seen a bit more trading, opposite of the map plays even coming out from Rogue Warriors this time around. So small adaptations on both sides. Haven't seen the amount of chaos that we've gotten last time just yet. And, you know, bit of a warning for everyone. I could try to play it off, but no reason. We are once again on the Lyric and Fans Express Highway. So it is once again just you guys and me and you. As Xiaohao wanting to make it more than just ZDZ and Breathe in the top lane, just hovering around. But look at the minimap. Missing is making his way up here with Beishang. Rogue Warriors can't feel good about this one. As we see them go in, Xiaohao immediately forced to flash. Abyssal Dive comes out, and Xiaohao is just dead. On the opposite side, Breathe gets a solo kill onto ZDZ. And WE now going to be the ones to control this space. It took you long enough to realize that you have pressure topside, WE, but I'm so happy that you figured it out. Going to turn back, get some trades down onto mid. And for WE, they still have the Rift Herald, so they can completely take advantage of this. More deep wards coming out in the jungle from missing, and this is what you want to see as a WE fan. Rogue Warriors going to come try to respond. I don't think WE should be able to force much more rather than letting this charge get off. But man, Chocho is pretty low, so does want to be a little bit respectful. As now, resets coming out. Gore Drinker, bot for Breathe, so definitely going to be hitting his stride. We're going to see what happened here, right? We finally get to see Missing make a roam towards topside. I think maybe this was after they'd realized that Leona was going for that. Breathe with the solo kill. Does hit the Vital at the end. Flash still comes off, but it doesn't matter in the end. And we all remember from last year, this was the champion that Breathe really just kind of opened the world's eyes to, being like, hey, this guy is a top player. This guy should make his way onto a better team, or at least OMG surround him with better players. Did move over to WE, and now getting to see it once again is always phenomenal. So WE gonna have this consistent pressure point up in the top lane. For now, Breathe holding the minions to his side, which is forcing ZDZ in a very awkward position. We're going to have Dragon come up in about a minute 30. You would expect both teams to start pivoting towards that one. I honestly think for WE, it's even fine to give up this second Drake. You can just keep opting into the gold trade because you do have such good scaling on the champions you have on your side, the Fiora, the Sylas, the Aphelios, that even if we get to a point where you're dabbling with the enemy team having soul, it doesn't mean all too much. As Forge, not going to pull up the same amount of magic as last game. That's always a bit sad. I like magic. Never been to a magic show. There's Mad Magical the caster. He's a cool guy. Ooh, big engages come out. Shanks actually forced to flash, but goes back in immediately. Not quite sure why, as Forge still having the E on him, then being able to ult away. Big misstep coming out from Team WE. Goes in with, yeah, just Forge being able to hit with the E2, underestimating the damage coming out. And I mean, Forge having a pretty decent damage advantage on Shanks right now with the components he has available. As I need to stop talking about that because we do have a bit of trading up in the top half of the map. But it's all gone. Action is gone, but here we are going into the replay. Looks like Beishang was just trying to help Shanks clear out the wave, and Forge immediately recognizing the opportunity to go for it, throwing down the shout, and then going in with the Q. Shanks thinking he can pull it off, not respecting the amount of burst, but ZDZ probably going to go down to this one. Hextech Ultimatum comes out, but it is not enough. WE able to secure that kill. WE are going to elect to not care about the second Drake that came up, and are going to play more towards the top side of the map, setting up Breathe, potentially going to get this Rift Herald, and just all-inning on that sweet cash money, baby. Rift Herald and Team Rogue Warriors are just an ATM for the side of WE right now. We all like money and ATMs. Unless you live abroad a lot of the time like me, where the ATM will decline your card for absolutely no reason, then you hate ATMs. So, you know, that's just a bit of a shout out to all the international livers and travelers all over the world, as we're getting to see something a little bit interesting on the bottom half of the map. Rogue Warriors are in WE's jungle, but doesn't look like health bars are in a place where they are going to be able to look for any kind of dive. Instead, just going to set up to take away this Tahm Kench. Oh wait, not Tahm Kench. So, guys, I've been solo casting for too long. That's a Gromp. Gromp and Tahm Kench are practically the same thing in my mind at this point. So, yeah, let's bear with me, in the words of 2020 Munchables. So, WE making their way back on the map. Rift Herald in hand, and we're actually seeing a bit of a lane allocation, different lane allocation come out from the side of Team WE. Sylas making his way up towards the top side. So 1-3-1 coming out from WE. You would expect a 1-3-1 when you look at this composition, right? We have a Fiora on one side, we have a Sylas on the other. So WE already turning to that 1-3-1 style.
I am back, Lyric, again. Sorry to leave you hanging, but my goodness, can I just say, you're
I heard Mazel
getting
for a
better
second.
and better. Oh, I do hear you, and I am a part of it here. I don't know if you can hear me myself, but all right, I believe it's my turn to take over the solo casting now. Lyric,
sorry, Mazel,
take a break.
not today.
Oh,
I'm back.
not today, dang it. We almost had it, but we are getting the setup here towards the bot side. Rogue Warriors actually were looking for something, but Team WE, having this Rift Herald, have a lot of options moving forward for themselves.
Yeah, Rogue Warriors the ones with a good position for an engage, though.
Oh, no, the flank. Oh, Forge has found it. Beishang with the Ragnarok doesn't get you out today, and Forge gets his 3rd kill of the game.
And Rogue Warriors doing a nice job moving over towards mid lane. Shanks coming off a reset. Seems like he was potentially looking for a TP angle, but wasn't able to find one. No deep vision coming in on the bot side of the map for Team WE. And yeah, just going to be a bit of a small pick for Rogue Warriors. Not going to be able to turn it into anything tangible on the map. Camille going to get some free time with topside turret, so you are going to get some chunk damage down on certain places, but in the end, not going to mean too much. And this is one of the things where we're hitting on before, right? Is that sure, WE have good scaling and great damage going into the late game, but Rogue Warriors have more tools to set things up between the amount of mobility they have and the engage coming out. They got this by having pressure in mid. They bring the Akali through the opposite side, and they're just able to force it with the amount of distance that Forge is able to cross. So.
And yet again,
I think Rogue Warriors, we can never count out the opportunities they're able to find. Sorry, Mazel, go on.
Yet again, Forge is getting the advantages for his team here. He's just trying to put on the backpack on the Akali twice in a row. And it's looking good as we go into this game, at least comparatively to last game, where we're 18.5 minutes in. There's been at least solid dragon control for Rogue Warriors. They've been able to find some picks and force WE into hands that necessarily they don't want to take.
And it's a lot from the fact that Rogue Warriors have been doing a good job of playing as a 3-man core in mid, forcing pressure to where WE not able to respond. They do have the Rift Herald up, so I think for WE, you would love to use this one in the mid lane, break this turret down, potentially open up more quadrants of the jungle to control, but with the fact that Rogue Warriors, I think, should consistently be able to control mid wave, it actually doesn't really do that much in terms of opening up side lanes, but they're going to force it down. They are going to get a bit of a gold injection if they're able to break this one down as well.
Yeah, I had to use it. It was just about to come up as, oh my goodness, that was a beautiful deadly flourish, but missing just as well as beautiful. Able to get out Elk from the fight. It was a curtain call used by Betty as well, so one ultimate down. You still have a lot to go though. Rogue Warriors have the setup they want if they can pull the trigger.
I feel like the awkward thing in the game right now for the side of WE is we hit on, hey, you know, you draft a Fiora, you want to be playing towards like signs, you have like 1-3-1 in essence, despite the fact that 1-3-1, the way I think when Fiora was strong, he's pretty much dead in this game. But for WE, you only have one strong side lane, because wherever Shanks is, Shanks actually should lose out in both matchups. So you're only realistically playing with your Fiora, which means Rogue Warriors will always have the opportunity to play this push and move style with an Akali and be able to find those opportunities onto either catching out stragglers like we've seen or moving to get on the back line. And another big thing is when you are playing something like a Fiora, something that is like hard 1-3-1, doesn't really like being involved in team fights too much, does want to get towers on opposite sides, as Shanks is dead.
Forge does miss the perfect execution as Shanks uses his own. Dragon does go down. That's soul point already, 20.5 minutes in for Rogue Warriors.
And like I was going on about before, typically when you do play these types of champions, you need to at least be able to pick up the first
ZDZ.
break to be able to elongate time.
Oh, he's got the hook shot though. He does get out. The Grand Challenge was also used onto him, but ZDZ able to get away.
ZDZ not even having to burn the flash. Really nice to see. WE not able to find anything on the opposite side of the map, but the chaos erupts. Mazel, we're at the same point last time in the game. Action non-stop.
Yeah, it was close. Nice little sidestep from both members there of Team WE to get away from the deadly flourish that was coming out from Betty. Utility picks coming in clutch here in the ADC role, but we'll see how that works out as we get further into the game. We did set up beforehand the scaling. Decently massive on the side of Team WE.
But they're going to be relying on kind of individual outplays, or RW really setting up the condition for them. Like you said, we're already 4 minutes away from Soul being up for Rogue Warriors, right? So it's going to be about 25 minutes for them. Then you're waiting another 5 for Elder. And if Rogue Warriors can get that, I feel like Rogue Warriors are just going to be able to cleanly close out a game. So we're going to be keeping our eyes pretty much glued to the Dragon timers. Yeah. Sure, we've been seeing a lot of action beyond that, but I don't know how Breathe realistically breaks down turrets like enough turrets or inhibitors before those timers are open. So we're gonna have to see Breathe playing a lot more of like a cleanup role in team fights, to where Shanks and Beishang can buy time, Missing can maybe get him out of the initial engage, and then Breathe can come in on the back line on like any low health bars, and WE can play off Rogue Warrior's team fighting mistakes that way. But playing off Rogue Warrior's team fighting mistakes is not great. So
it's not
a
the
great way to
best
play
way
Mazel.
forward. Yeah, I would say so. It's not the best laid plans here in this one, but I will say we're getting to some item spikes across the board. You know, you got 2 items for these ADCs. Serpent Fang, second item for Betty as well. You got 2 items already in mid lane too, as Forge really feeling nice on that 3 kill spree. Rogue Warriors get the tower in top lane, so they'll be able to get their first tower of the game.
And it looks like they'll be able to get more pressure down on this tier 2, to where for WE, Beishang's hovering around bot to make sure that Breathe can safely get this, but trading 2 turrets for 1, this one looks free for the side of Rogue Warriors, and there won't be a response.
They do only get the tower on bot side to tier 2 for a tier 1, or tier 3, I guess, right, really. And you still get the gold on Breathe, which I think is good, right? But on the Fiora, like, you're still looking for that breakout moment for yourself in the side lane. And it's really rough when you have to trade down big moments like this for Rogue Warriors, where they didn't have a tower, and now they have a ton of pressure in top lane. QiuQiu does use a nice solar flare, but the Ragnarok is popped, and QiuQiu might be out, left to dry. That's a kill over.
TP.
Oh my goodness, they're committing. He's already dead, and Forge needs to just get
alone.
away. It's the same thing that happened in game number 1, but can they turn it around this time? Forge able to get away. Missing still wants it, but Forge too quick.
And now WE, in my opinion, should just be able to turn to this Baron. You don't really have the best of Felios guns for it, though, so yeah, seems like WE not going to opt into that one. A bit unfortunate, honestly. If you did have, you know, like Crescendum Severum in that situation, I feel like you just force and try to get the numbers advantage fight, but not going to have that one. That could have been a massive moment, but still, for WE, they have a 2K gold lead. They haven't been down in terms of gold, despite the fact that they do have the Silas, the Fiora, and the Aphelios, so definitely by no means over for them. I just feel like, as you highlighted in draft, that there is a lot that's going to come down to execution in terms of how these comps are played out in these fights. Had WE started playing around their strong side sooner in this game, I feel like it could have been very different where we're at right now, but since they didn't, since Rogue Warriors were the ones able to capitalize on the pressure that Forge had once again, very close game.
It is very close, and now Team WE already positioned around the Dragon Pit because they know that Soul is available for Rogue Warriors. They were trying to make a little cheeky bush play there, but were found out by QiuQiu and Forge. You now also have ZDZ coming down. The Rogue Warriors have gotten priority in mid lane at this point. They'll see if they can transition that down into the Dragon Pit. This would be big, but it's not the craziest Dragon Soul to boot. It's be a nice momentum advantage for Rogue Warriors, though, as Dragons already started up from Team WE. Do they commit to this? The Zenith Blade's in. QiuQiu very low already. Now ZDZ on the back line. You have the flanks coming through, but can Team WE take the team fight? You've got to watch Elk. Elk is already down, but the Team WE members are still looking for it. They've been able to find ZDZ, but they're getting picked apart at this point. Betty, still full health, still firing away on the side. Shanks goes down next. Xiaohao is all by his lonesome. Breathe doesn't find Betty, and after all the craziness, it's thrown back into Team WE's court. Curtain call's gonna miss, and Betty just has to get away.
And honestly, I feel like that fight evolved into such a good way for WE, to where Elk gets caught out almost immediately, but then the fight devolved into more of like 2 to 3 small skirmishes rather than one big front-to-back team fight, where champions like Silas and Fiora were able to have so much agency. We're going to see here Xiaohao is going to be the one to start it off along with QiuQiu, and Elk just not in the best place. Does get eaten by Tom Kench, but keep your eyes on Betty. He's going to use the Gale Force and just instantly delete Elk. then we're going to be left in a situation where ZWuJi already forced out by Breathe, doing a lot better in this team fight than you would typically see a Fiora able to do. And then here we have like a skirmish on top side with Breathe buying time, and then this 3v2 on the other half. So 2 small skirmishes, Olaf, Silas, Fiora getting a lot of agency out of fights like this. And just really nice from Team WE to be able to bring it back that way. But once again, times like this is when you really don't see the efficiency of a pick like Jhin that maybe you could see out of a lot of other AD carry champions. Also feel like Betty's positioning in that fight not really the best for maximum DPS, but still, I think big shout out to Beishang and Breathe doing great work when we thought team fightings would be a bit harder than this.
They want to go for ZDZ here. Grand challenge is popped. Do they go under tower for it? That's the Hextech ultimatum, but ZDZ, he's not going to go down just yet. He doesn't. They have found Xiaohao, though, in the transition, and Team WE are going to get responded to by one of Rogue Warriors' kills of their own. Now we get the chaos that ensues. Betty gets a kill, but you get it immediately back. Cho goes down.
2 for 2, and I mean the big thing is we see WE's 2 core members that we were just praising go a bit too far in the bottom lane, go for the dive, get taken down, but now Forge going in.
Forge is going in now, he wants it. Shanks still does have perfect execution available. There's the shuriken, and there's the damage. Elk is gone off your screen. The hook shot not long enough to connect to Shanks. But big carry down for Team WE means that Rogue Warriors want to go forward. They want to take missing out, but he's got the Abyssal Dive to get away.
And we are in the same position as last game.
Yes, we are.
Both teams deciding who doesn't want to win this game more is going to be the question at the end of the day. As we're going to see what's happening. WE pushing into their jungle makes sense because you look at the pressure they do have on bot side. This is a big, chaotic mess, as Elk just instantly able to take down Xiaohao with a really nice Abyssal Dive to get that double knockup that we did see come out from the Tom Kench. And then you're in like a 4v2 on one side, but the other members did dive down a bot, but we have more!
We're still going! Solar Flares popped and Rogue Warriors have found Shanks. Now you still have a couple members alive for Team WE, but they've got to get out because they're going to lose another. Beishang goes down and 5 members strong from Rogue Warriors turn back onto the Baron.
Well, looks like we will most likely get a game 3, Mazel. Gonna, leave that at that statement, as we didn't see all that happen. Elk gonna look to try to save it, but again, doesn't have the best guns. Now does have that shotgun on the AoE.
Missing's already dead. Oh my god, Elk just gets blown up too. The curtain calls too much, and the Baron, as well as the kills, will go over to Rogue Warriors.
We have no idea how all of this started either. We were in a replay. We come back to our screen. Shanks is being killed. WE, for some reason, somewhere they apparently shouldn't be. WE and Barons. WE neutral objective just has not been the best mix this split. That's kind of sad that we don't get the initial replay and we get this because, I mean, for WE, they're already forced at a numbers disadvantage. And there we see, actually it was Elk who started the fight picked off, but we're going to see Shanks go down right away. And 4 Rogue Warriors are just able to easily follow this one up. Oh wait, no, this was the initial replay. I'm sorry, observers. I did you guys dirty with that one. And then here is where we see, W trying to look for the re-engage. They got to do what they can. And Chocho being the one to find it once again, but ZDZ being the one to lock down Elk, get his health bar low, and then Breathe is just left in an impossible scenario.
And the challenge is so close there for Breathe. Like, I don't know if that changes the entire fight, but at least you're able to get one back and the sustain comes through. But it's really rough. And now Rogue Warriors taking full advantage of the momentum they gained off that fight. They got the Baron. Now they're getting towers left and right. All that standing gold that was left on the map is now theirs, and they've taken the gold lead.
And for Rogue Warriors, I think it should be decently easy to force action that you want to find. Just push in mid, keep controlling the spot lane wave. They're going to take a dragon for free. You're going to need one person answering Breathe on sides. It is Soul, but I feel like more importantly, Mazel, we're looking towards Elder. That's what I want to see. That's what I feel like we're going to get to that point, right? I don't know. but
You never
my
know.
instinct tells me Rogue Warriors will find a way to not win this game with this Baron, or at least not get a big enough gold lead to where they should win. And then we'll probably get to one Elder fight where some crazy shenanigan happens, and that's who wins.
Hey, well, I'm here for it and ready to go. There's the engage on Missing, though. Missing very, very low here. Missing goes down as big damage from the Jhin this point in the game. Rogue Warriors are under tower, but can they get up? They do! That's almost the clean ace, but now Breathe is here. Can he pull a miracle? No! Rogue Warriors with the ace.
I completely underestimated Rogue Warriors. Just said it wasn't gonna end, but Rogue Warriors now gonna be able to bring us to a game 3. Messy game, Mazel, but it's working.
The salty run back works. They were able to do it. They pull out what you would think is craziness against Team WE, but they make it look beautiful. Rogue Warriors will bring us the distance, and they will force Team WE to a third game.
You know, Mazel, it's those unexpected series that deliver you bangers. We gotta be real. We looked at today's games. We thought, it was probably gonna be like a 4-hour day. Then we get here. Mentally, I'm kind of broken. I don't know what's going on in a lot of these situations. These team fights are breaking out everywhere over the smallest things on the map. And now we're somehow going to game 3 where both games have been complete fiestas. So we know in the next one we get a full-on circus.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm waiting for the bears and the tutus and the blowy hats and all that kind of stuff. It's going to be great. But no, what's crazy to me about this one is, like, we stepped off that game number 1. Team WE won it after that crazy fight around Baron, all that the stuff. And we were like, Team WE, they know what they need to do. They need to come out in game number 2. They need to smash because they need to build that confidence up. That was not it. That was Rogue Warriors coming out and smashing, at least in some topsy-turviness across the board, but it still looked good from them when they had the decision-making in their side, when they had the ball in their court.
Yeah, I mean, for Rogue Warriors, we did see a lot of good moments. I'd say similar moments to last game. And I feel like that's why Rogue Warriors are probably able to come out ahead, is that, like, since their draft was the exact same and some of their matchups were the same, like mid lane, they were able to have the same pressures they relied on in game 1 to find another advantage.
Yeah.
And for WE, I still feel like we're not seeing them make the most of like their strong sides of the map. We did highlight how this composition would be a bit harder for WE, well, compared to Rogue Warriors, who you have a bunch of engage, you have a Leona coming out, you have the curtain call, you have ZDZ who's a point and click, you know, like block down, you're stuck in there with him, Forge, easy way to traverse backline, to where for WE, look at it, they don't have a tremendous amount of peel, they don't have like great kiting potential necessarily, they don't have a ton of lockdown themselves. It is very skill oriented on their side to be able to take fights or pull people around the map. And I feel like a big thing as well is we saw Rogue Warriors stacking those dragons early enough and things along those lines to where WE were put in a bad position. And then, I mean, WE also kind of ran it down in that bot lane exchange, which, you know, put Rogue Warriors in a great position. So WE not helping themselves by any means.
Yeah, they're definitely not selling it here so far, but we got to see what happens in game number 3. As you said, we're expecting a full-on circus, so go ahead and go buy those tickets. We're going to step away, take a little break while we get ready for that game number 3, but on the other